And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our tag area. You'll see there's one created already called NexaPoint Limited. And I've assigned that tag to 3 people, which gives me a nice and easy way to be able to filter through the contacts. And then all tags, of course, is going to show everyone. Let's get some more tags added in here. If I just right click anywhere, I've got an option to add a new tag, which I'll do. I'll give it a name, just call this client. You can see that's added and automatically sorted in alphabetical order there. So I'm just going to pause and add some more. Okay, I've added some more tags in there. We've got partner, prospect, supplier, and VIP. So how do we assign these? Well, there's a few ways, but an easy way is to simply right click on the contact card and you'll see a tags option there. And in the flyout menu, all of the current tags are listed. It tells you what tags the contact already has because of the tick next to them. But I'm going to select client and we can see that Sarah now has 2 tags assigned to her. If you want to assign tags to multiple people, you can do so. If I select Anthony up here, then press the command key, I can then select Claire. If I come down a little bit further, let's add Rachel and finally James. With all of those selected, I can right click, go to tags, and I'm going to make those clients as well. And now when I click on that tag name, I've got a quick way to be able to see all of those. So when it comes to segmenting your contacts with ease, tags are a real plus point to BusyContacts. Okay, just coming back to these colors here that you can see. So we've got blue referring to Google and then green here for iCloud. But how do tags fit in with this? Well, let's take a look at a contact. So we've got Sarah Mitchell here. She's actually got 2 tags because you can assign multiple tags to a card. So she is a client. And we've also got her company name there. Now, if I click on the NexaPoint tag, we can see I've got 3 people in there. Now, you can also change the color of these tags. So if I right click, come down to color, I think I'll make this tag yellow. And it hasn't made the change to Sarah's. Again, as I said earlier, I think that's because there's a photo in there. However, Rachel in the center, we can see even though she's an iCloud contact, she now has a yellow circle around there. Let's see what happens if we change the color for client. I'm going to make this tag red. And there we are. Again, those cards that don't have a photo do now have a red circle around them. If people have multiple tags, then the one that is alphabetically first is going to take precedence. Next to the sidebar, we can see we have our contact list, and clicking on the contact's name shows their information across to the right. And you can quickly get to a contact either by searching or by clicking on any one of these letters down here. Now, the default viewing option for showing the first name is to have it before the last name, and you can go into settings and change that if you wish. So if I switch to following last name, you can see that the surname comes first. Works for some people. Definitely doesn't work for me, so I'm going to put it back and then just close settings. Now the contact list is currently in the card view, but I can click here to change it to a list view. And there are some times, which you'll see later on in the video, where this really does work well. You can see the colors that have been assigned via the various tags and address books. And then you can sort by any displayed column. So company here, or the date that the contact was last modified. You may find yourself working out of list view far more than the card one. Now, if you want to add a column whilst you're in list view, simply right click and you'll see a tick next to the columns that you currently have. Let's say I'd quite like to have a column that shows their birthdays. I can come down to personal info, then birthday. And if you've got birthday information added to the contact cards, then you can see them all in here. We are going to be looking at this a little bit more later. Let's just come back into card view for now, because I just want to bring up Sarah Mitchell's card here. We can see that for her tags, we've got a color of red and yellow. For each of them, it's quite clear, but I just want to reinforce a point that was made earlier. If I come back into list view, and then I'm going to come down to Sarah, you can see that she does indeed appear there in red because client alphabetically comes first. That's the color that she appears in. I can see her tags down here. And if I actually delete that client one, you can see she now switches to yellow. Okay, I've just put Sarah's tags back how they were. Now, another thing we can change, you can see that Sarah's profile image is displayed above her name there. Well, if I go into settings, in the info panel section, which is where we currently are, underneath card layout, we can see it's set to stacked, but we can change this to just side by side. And it gives us a preview below of how that will look. But if I just move the settings window across a little bit here, you can see firsthand how that looks. I'm going to switch it back. And also you'll see here in this info panel section, you've got options to enable and disable different pieces of information from appearing in the card. Okay, let's close that and just show you how you can interact with the card. So I'm going to hover over Sarah's mobile number here, and you can see that a clickable link appears. And if I click, I've got an option to be able to call her using the phone app here. I'm going to come out of here and just show you that the same, of course, applies if I hover over the email address. I can click and a draft email with her address added into the to field opens up automatically. Now, there are going to be times when actually you just want to copy the email address as opposed to click on it. For those occasions, you can press the command key whilst clicking. And this allows you to now select the text instead, which I'll do and add to my clipboard. Alternatively, if I come over here to the left, I can click on work here, and then I can carry out some actions from here, including copying the email address down there near the bottom. Other options that we have include sending an email, sending an iMessage. We can launch a FaceTime audio or video call as well. We can email the card details as well as message them. And then if I just come up here and click on this work number label here, it's very similar in that we can execute actions from here. So we can call the number, we can WhatsApp the number, we can show it in large type. It certainly looks very clear there. And you'll see that we can copy the phone number as well as make it the primary number. And what that's going to do if I select it is you'll see it's moved it up to the top of the list here. So whenever I try to call Sarah, this is going to be the number that's dialed. If I change my mind and decide that I want the mobile number to be the one that's called, I can click and then make that the primary instead. And we can see that's reset now. To edit a card's details, simply come down and click on Edit. And you'll see that all of the fields that appear there are selectable and you can make any changes. And then at the bottom here, you'll see you can also add new fields, which we're going to do a little bit later on. You'll also see that large notes field. That's really important if you decide to try and use BusyContacts as a kind of CRM so that you can keep important information about your contacts. At the very bottom, they are quite small, but we've got some buttons here. You can copy the contact card details. Then clicking here allows you to insert a date and time into those notes. And again, if you're using BusyContacts as some form of customer database, you can use it as a journal of actions perhaps that you've taken. Then to the right of that, we've got a pin button. And of course, what this does, if we come to the top of the contacts list here, it pins that contact to the top. Then to unpin, just right click and you can select unpin from here. And the final button on the far right are the three dots, and these allow you to carry out certain actions with the contact. We'll be looking at some of these later, but you can automatically send them an email, a message. You can kick off a call using the primary phone number. You can FaceTime from this button, as well as create some events in BusyCal if you have it. And at the bottom here, you can email this card to someone or message it. You can create a QR code, which we're going to do right towards the end of the video. And then finally, at the bottom, you can delete. Another quick way of editing a contact we've kind of already seen. So if you click on them in the contact list and then right click, you can automatically populate information from other cards. So if Tony here has been lucky enough to get a job at Nexapoint Limited, we can simply come to company and select it. And we can see that's been added there. This can come in incredibly useful when editing multiple contacts. If I come to the Nexapoint Limited tag here, let's just say that all of these three people, perhaps they're all leaving and they're joining another company that I already have in my BusyContacts database. Well, I could select that. Or what's going to be more likely the case with you is if you need to assign them a different tag. Perhaps they're no longer clients. Well, I can simply select this and they've now had the client tag removed. Perhaps now, instead, they're all partners. So a very quick way of being able to make some edits there. Other preferences that you can set, you'll see if I click on Sarah's photo here, it's got some different sizes. And we can actually set the default preference for these. So back into settings, and again in the info panel section, I can click on photo size, and these are the options that we've got. So if you prefer an extra large image, then this will make you happy. Myself, I'm perfectly happy with the smaller size here. And finally, when looking at this interface, on the right-hand side, we've got the activity list. This is going to show information like emails that you've sent to the contact or upcoming and historic calendar events. It can show social media information and more. And we're going to be covering this, of course, later in the video. Now, all of these panels here are resizable. And if the activity panel is not something you're going to use a lot, then underneath view here, you see you can come down to hide that activity list. I do tend to make use of this day to day, so I'm going to select it here. And if I come to another contact here, so let's pick myself, we can see that Barry has got meetings with Lee here. There was a technical workshop on the 27th of February last year, and we've got a meeting together on the 23rd of June as well. And you'll see that as you hover over, it changes from the date to how long ago in the past or future that event is.